I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2026, or February 2026 Lancaster County Planning Commission. Thank all the commission members that are here, all of our attendees. Pretty straightforward docket tonight. Did everyone receive their packets, the January packets in time to review?
Yep.
Any changes, modifications needed? That said, I'd like to make a motion to accept the January 15th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting minutes as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
I'll abstain because I wasn't here.
That's fair. Did you get that, Crystal? She abstained. She wasn't here. We've got one discussion docket item that's sort of a carryover from last month's meeting regarding R2 zoning. Ms. Hall?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have for you this evening a discussion on the creation of a legacy zoning district to include existing R2 zone parcels in the county and the corresponding necessary revision to Article 1 definitions to include a definition for the term legacy zoning district. County staff have received feedback from the community that the repealed Article 6 residential apartment district R2 is affecting property owners' ability to use their properties as desired. Staff have also experienced issues with the repealed R2 zoning district as properties originally zoned R2 were not rezoned to a different district when the R2 zoning was repealed. These properties are still technically zoned R2 and must comply with the language of the R2 zoning, which is problematic as the permissible uses for repealed zoning cannot be updated in a repealed zone. For instance, other zoning districts were recently updated to address short-term rentals. In order to address short-term rentals and effectively enforce the requirements of the county's short-term rental ordinance, parcels currently zoned R2 would need to be rezoned. However, the county does not currently have zoning that would be a good fit for properties located within the waterfront overlay district, as R4 zoning is not permissible in the W1. County staff also frequently field questions from real estate agents and potential buyers regarding the implications of parcels which are located in a repealed R2 zone. To address these concerns and effectively enforce county zoning requirements, county staff are proposing the creation of a legacy zoning district. A legacy zoning district is a zoning district created to manage, and protect an established area that was developed under a previously repealed ordinance. No property in the county can be rezoned into a legacy zoning district. Based on this, the legacy zone district would only apply to parcels that are already zoned R2. The proposed changes are intended to alleviate the concerns listed above. The proposed changes also include the addition of street design regulations, which would require future modifications to master plans to require all street and right-of-ways to conform to VDOT standards for street acceptance, including a minimum right-of-way of 50 feet in width for connecting streets. This language is included to address public safety concerns regarding the ability of our current fire trucks to utilize the roads and turn around where necessary. Included in your packet was the repealed Article 6 R2 zoning, the proposed legacy residential zoning LR2 language, the corresponding changes to Article 1 definitions, and other examples of legacy zoning in other localities. This discussion is envisioned as a work session to discuss the proposed changes to address staff and residents' concerns regarding repealed R2 zoning. And just a few statistics for you. Currently, there are 538 parcels zoned R2. And just for comparison, our R3 has 922 parcels and R4 currently has 2 parcels. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. What are those two? What are those two?
There's one R4 just up the road here.
Yeah, right by the old post office.
That's R4?
That's R4.
And then,
And Lewis Conway's
that's
insurance.
right, that's why he hooked them together.
Behind his insurance business.
Those are
right?
the only two in the
That's the
county.
only two.
And what was Mr. Rogers trying to get? I know that was an historic overlay, but that was similar to R4, wasn't it?
Yes, you talking about in Lively?
Yeah, the old school.
Yeah,
We need to go back and revisit that, but that's another conversation.
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hall. Is this a discussion item? You guys have any questions for staff?
Yeah, I do. Why was R2 eliminated?
It was repealed June 30th of '05, I think it was June 30th of '05.
It was 05.
Right.
Yeah, by the Board of Supervisors at that time, because they believed that the waterfront was being overdeveloped under the R2. I mean, overdeveloped under the R2.
So that would lead me to believe the last R2 zoning was Hills Corridor.
That was probably, that was, the last part of that was rezoned in, I think, '04, so that's probably
That was
correct.
the last one.
Yeah, but the board at that time thought that our waterfront was being overdeveloped under that current R2, so they repealed it. And R4 was envisioned as a replacement for R2, but the only way R4 got passed was by saying that it could not be located within 800 feet of tidal waters. So it took it off the waterfront. So that's
That's why we only have two.
why we only have two parcels, so.
So we can't just rezone all
Well, we can't.
R2s as R4?
No, we have no, because R4 cannot be located within 800 feet of tidal waters.
Yes.
Most of our R2s are on the waterfront,
Oh,
so they can't go to R4. So, and we've had a couple of instances over the last few years where existing R2s had master plans that they wanted to revise. And the master plans had to go before the Board of Supervisors to have a revision approved. We've always had a problem since that was repealed of enforcing a repealed ordinance.
And it's important to note too that the R2 zoning, what we're trying to change is pretty minor in it. We're basically bringing it back as a legacy zone. So it's actually, as it would exist as a legacy zone, more restrictive than the R3 and the R4, not less restrictive. So we're not opening a can of worms with that.
And nothing is ever going to be allowed to be zoned.
Yeah,
R2.
nothing
Right.
can ever be rezoned to this legacy zoning district. It's just a means of allowing us to have a mechanism to enforce an obsolete zoning district.
Dave, you good with that?
yeah.
The only thing that I saw that we and I'll leave it up to staff, is just to, and you touched on it, the first part was the short-term rentals. If we could just adjust some language to say that even though it's R2, and I don't know how you want to do it, any short-term rental would be subject to the new short-term rental zoning ordinance, or subject to, how did I wrote it? I wrote it down. Bear with me. Short-term rental use within the legacy residential district shall be subject to the county's adopted short-term rental ordinance. Nothing in the zoning district shall be interpreted to expand or restrict short-term rental rights beyond those regulations.
Okay.
It doesn't, it just kind of doesn't touch on it because it is legacy. I just don't want them to think they got, or,
Good point.
Yeah.
just something like that.
We can add
That's
that
all
in.
I saw.
Yeah, and the way it reads, a hosted short-term rental would be by right, just like our short-term rental ordinance says. But an unhosted would require a special exception.
Yeah, so.
So nothing's different.
Nothing different. It would just be subject to what we've got now.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it's not clearly,
Yeah, that's a good point.
we didn't see it that way.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all I saw. I think it's just basically to make life easier.
Yeah.
You guys think?
I agree, it's good.
So I guess the next step is,
Yeah.
we just bring it back next month for public hearing?
I would suggest one thing for you to consider as an additional use. And I don't know how it was omitted from the R2 district originally, but every other zoning district that the county has lists county-sanctioned public facilities as a permitted use. So I would suggest that you consider adding that as a permitted
In
use.
case we want
in
another
the
water
R2.
access site?
Exactly.
Again, nothing's going to be changed to that, so it would have to be something that's already in place.
That's right.
I
So,
don't have any problem with that. What do you think? Yeah, it's fine with me.
Okay.
This is to make staff's life easier.
that's the goal.
It would. And it honestly would be helpful for the real estate agents too, because it is confusing when a buyer, I mean, you have to
I
explain to
can't
them about
imagine any
repealed
real estate
zoning.
agent I know to get confused. So, okay, so we'll just bring it back. Do we have to have a public hearing? if
You
we're gonna
do,
change it? That's what I
because
was
it's a
thinking.
zoning ordinance, so you have to have a public hearing and then forward it to the board after your public
All
hearing.
right, we don't need to make a motion to do that, do we? Or
I
should
would
we?
think you should, yeah. Make a motion to forward it to next month's meeting, and public hearing.
With your recommended changes
With
and
the-
and
with the
Don's
changes
change.
recommended tonight.
You wanna make-
Sure. I'd like to make a motion that we forward this to next month's meeting for a public hearing with the discussed changes.
Thank you, Ms. Booth. We got a motion on the floor of send this to next month's meeting as a public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Sit down. So I can't believe it's capital improvement budget talks. I mean, where does the time go by?
I know. Tell me about it.
But it's got everybody's attention. Mr. Gill? You have the floor, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, you know that state code requires the planning commission to prepare and submit capital improvement budgets annually to the Board of Supervisors. The past several years, the board has adopted a budget schedule which allows for a discussion meeting, the February meeting of the planning commission of items that have been requested. Then you hold a public hearing at your March meeting to have a recommendation to forward it to the board so that it can be included in the overall budget and meet the timelines that the board has established. On the summary cost sheet, you'll see the items listed in FY '27, and of course, FY '27 is the most important year to consider because the outer years will be considered each year moving forward. So for FY '27, there's a total of $720,364 in items requested. You have representatives here tonight from the school system, from the sheriff's office, and our EMS chief, Matt Smith, is online. He's coming back from a chiefs convention in Virginia Beach, so he's online. And one request from the electoral board, those folks couldn't be here tonight, so that was the one pager that I placed at your desks, which is some additional information on the poll pads that they are requesting. So I'll do my best to address any concerns with that. And unless you have any questions for me, I would suggest bringing up these representatives and having them explain their requests.
Absolutely. I do have one quick question. Are any of these mandated? Are we required to have any of these? I mean, I know they're capital improvement requests, but should we be aware of anything that, like, you know, do we need the polling pads? Is that a state voter requirement? I mean, those types of things.
Well, the polling pads are basically updated or what's the word I'm looking for? Hyped up iPads that the poll workers use to check voters in.
So the Commonwealth's not requiring us to have it?
I believe I don't know, they require you to check voters in.
Yeah.
Now, how you check them in, I don't think they specifically say that you must have a poll pad,
Okay.
but.
I just didn't want to get caught saying, well, this has
Yeah.
got to be number one.
Yeah,
because-
but you have that one pager in front of you, and it's, $19,910 is a minimal cost for something that's gonna last 5, 6, 7 years, so,
But Don, with this one pager, so the original pads were purchased in 2017-18. But then we got 13 new pads, and are they 2023 models, or they just got them in 2020?
I can't answer that question. I don't know if they were 2023 models or not, but if you look where she has 2026, it says that they will not accept the iOS upgrades.
Right, but is that for the 2017-18, and also the 13 free ones that they received?
Yeah. I can't answer that.
Thanks,
I
sir.
I would say that we'll try to get someone from the electoral board here next month.
Before we rate them, I mean, I think that they could probably address
Yeah.
that for us.
I can pass that question along to them, and I'm sure she can answer that.
Okay.
Thank you.
It looks like to me that our departments realize we're building a school this year because they're not hitting us up too hard from recent memory.
Well, they are changing the way they've done, years past, they've done 2 buses one year, then 1 bus, and then 2 buses, 1 bus. But they think they've got a better plan now, and I know CD can explain it much better than I can, so.
Saving us lots of money, I'm guessing, right? Okay, well, that's better. That's better than none. So, okay, any other questions for Don before we bring up the department heads? And I know we normally do it, and no offense, Travis or CD, but usually we have our 911ers, first responders come up first. And also getting a call from Jeffrey early today.
I'm a busy man.
I understand.
No, this time of year is coming around sort of like my birthdays. They seem to be coming quicker as well.
I know all those old people that told us that when we were growing up, they
Never
didn't know what they
believed
were
it.
talking about.
Never believed it.
We
Whole lot of
called
things. Whole lot
We
of
called them
things.
foolish.
All right, on our list this year, first of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Sheriff's Office is, our first priority tonight is going to be to replace the aging intercom system for the jail. The intercom system was put in originally back in 1978. And what the intercom system does, it's security reasons as well as safety for the inmates. When someone goes to a door that's a secured door, they press the intercom, the camera goes to the door, they identify themselves, and then they're let through the door. The other intercoms that are in the secured area of the jail allows for the inmates to contact us if there's an emergency situation. Our officers have various duties we do during the day. We do checks on the inmates very frequently. The state requires us to do 2 an hour. We're back there more than that, but there are times that we're not back there. If there's an emergency such as medical, a fight breaks out, something of that nature, the inmates have to have some way to contact us to let us know what's going on in the back. We've nursed this system along, found replacements for it from time to time. We're at the point now we just can't find replacement stuff for it anymore. If this goes down or there's an issue, God forbid someone has a medical issue and there's a problem, this becomes a DOC issue, Department of Corrections, and they're going to come down on us. So we've got bids from the bid was received from the Verkada people. If you remember last year, we asked for to replace the cameras in the jail, and that's working very well. And these intercoms and cameras, as I was saying, go hand in hand. So they had given us the bid for this, and this is completely replacing the system, the intercoms, the wiring, the labor and so forth that goes with this. The next item on the list is a inmate transport vehicle. There's 2 ways that we transport inmates. We have a car that we use that has a single cage, and we have a van that is a 1982 model, I believe, that was donated to us, used from Middle Peninsula Regional Jail. We've used that now the last 5 or 6 years. Having some issues with it. When we have inmates that go to Department of Corrections, we have to go to Nottoway. Most of the time, they call and ask for 3 or 4 inmates at a time. We have to use a van, and we don't really trust this van to go as far as Nottoway. We try not to go more than any further than Warsaw or Saluda with it. Also, we're having an increase in mental health patients, unfortunately. We've had 5 this month that we've had to transport to mental facilities. We can use this vehicle for that as well. The quote I've got may be a little higher than, this is a company out of Chesterfield. And what they had, they're used to doing bids for big facilities. What we would be looking at is maybe a little smaller version of the van, because we're not, if you look at the floor plan that I gave you in the packet, that shows you can tote about 10 or 12 inmates. Well, we might be toting 3 or 4 to court or to DOC at the most. So we're going to try to scale that back. I talked to the salesman that I got this number from, and he could not quickly enough give me a quote on designing something, but he would help us design something that was smaller to maybe a smaller transport van. So this was the only figure I had to give you, but coming in under this number would be, good as well. But I had something I had to give you. But that's what we're looking to do is get a little bit smaller transport van to meet our needs. The vans run between $60,000 and $70,000 that we would need for that size. And then they have to be specifically outfitted. It's like anything else with 911, or if you own a boat, whatever you buy for corrections is going to be more expensive. We now are having cameras in the vehicle so that we can monitor the inmates as we transport them. Different things for security, which makes it safer for the inmates and for the transporting officer. So you're looking at the $60,000 to $70,000 for the vehicle, and then whatever the cost of outfitting it would be.
Do you think you could get a better number by next month's meeting, or?
Yes, he told me he could work with them, and I called him on Monday, and they have this design person that does those type of things. So by the next meeting, I should have something a little better for you. I apologize for not having it tonight. The next is a 2026 patrol vehicle. This is going to be a pickup this year. Our investigators feel like one of them can use a pickup for what they need to do. Most of them have Tahoes or Explorers to carry equipment. We can use a pickup for this situation, which is cheaper. I put 58 in there. The vehicle itself is coming in right around 49, but then we have to buy lights and pay for people to install the lighting and those kind of things for that vehicle. So again, that may be an item that comes in a little under 58, but depends on what they run into as far as labor. The last thing I have for 2027 is a network server for the sheriff's office. Our current network server is about 8 years old. It is due for repair, for replacing. From what I was told, let me look in my notes here, so I get the proper term. Broadcom has discontinued the VMware VSP standard. Renewals are running between $11,000 and $15,000 per year to keep the current server running. With the age of it and the cost of the updates, our IT people, Magna 5 out of Charlottesville, have recommended that we replace the network server, which would give us more space, more options. As you know, technology is moving on these days and making things better. So this is a cost of $30,000. And moving into 2028, we're looking at HVAC units. Didn't put any on 2027. Talked with our HVAC person. He felt like we were good if we wanted to skip a year. So I moved that. Again, another patrol vehicle. We try to get one a year. And this has been put off for a couple years, but still interested. We would like to continue looking into getting a sheriff/EMS office over here next to the courthouse. Just from the architect, what she had told us back in 2024, we could look at like 3% over time, so it was $13 million. And I just kind of did some rough figures, so it looked like in 2028 it would be around $27 million. So that's all that I have for now. Is there any questions I can answer for you?
A quick question on the sheriff office network no, what the hell was it?
Server?
Was it the server? Yeah. You said that cost us $11,000 a year just to,
It was $11,000 to $15,000 a year for, let me get back to my notes, excuse me.
just to.
Is that this one pager?
Yeah, when I went to print it out, the way they sent it to me, it kind of broke up. What'd I do with it? Yeah, so the VMware, and I guess CD knows what what is VMware?
Virtual machine.
Okay,
It's a server, if I'm right, Glenn probably knows more than I do about it. But it's a server that can host multiple virtual machines on the
It's the
server.
cost.
We use it in the school system a lot. They're like fake servers within a server.
yeah. And the renewals on that, like I said, we're running between $11,000 and $15,000. And this current server we have is 8 years old, which with everything that we have on it and as much as is coming out now, they recommend replacing the server in that time frame.
No, that's what, we just didn't know. So if it's replaced at the $30,000, whatever that number
Right.
was, do we still have to pay $11,000?
No,
So-
that was one of the reasons that we
So in
wanted to go
essence-
to the server to save us money. The VMware for the new one would be much less.
So, it's expected to have another 8,
Oh, yeah, we tried to get at least 8 years out of them.
so it would pay for itself in 3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean, plus or minus?
Right, yep.
Okay, that's what I was confused. I didn't know if you still got the new one.
Yeah, and when they sent that spreadsheet to me, the spreadsheet, I did everything I technically knew how to do to get it to print right, but it wouldn't do it.
thank you.
Yes, indeed.
And then the patrol car, just like with the buses and everything, that replacement, that's worked well?
Yes,
Or, okay.
yes.
And the pickup truck, you said that's just, same thing, it's just a different vehicle?
Yes, and it's a little bit cheaper.
It's gonna stay in the rotation some
Yes,
amount of years?
yes.
Okay.
Your HVAC replacement in 28, that's for 2 units, right?
Yes. And that's for 2 units for the jail.
And I'll go back to what I kind of asked Don, because I just don't know, Jeffrey, but that sheriff's office inmate transport van, I mean, is that something that we could get in trouble for? I just out of curiosity, I mean, if something happens to that, if it breaks down the side of the road, and inmates, I mean, you know,
Yeah, typically, we're finding more and more right now that inmates have charges in multiple counties. So we're having to go pick up at Saluda, or even we've gone to Suffolk, different places. And most of the time it's one, but sometimes we have to pick up 2 inmates. But if you break down on the side of the road with 2 inmates, other than calling the local PD or sheriff's office to come stand by with you, and then you gotta find a way to transport them to somewhere safe until you can get them to where they're supposed to be, that's quite a headache.
If you use just a regular patrol car for that transport, you could only carry one?
Yes.
Okay.
only carry one.
Yeah, so you,
Out of curiosity, how many, off the top of your head, prisoners do we transport a year that we would need a van?
I can give you the numbers
I mean, I didn't-
next time we come.
Certainly not holding
We
it, just
take,
ballpark.
we take inmates to DOC typically 3-4 times a year, and it's most time not under 3. When we go over to court, when we're transporting them back and forth to court, now, it was on term day, back in January, we transported 8 people over there, back and forth all day.
I just was curious as to how many times we actually, put a cost to it.
And with the mental health people, they're back there crammed up in a 1-person cage. They're already going through a mental crisis. And it can be traumatic for them to be in restraints, crammed up in a small little area like that. If they're in a van, of course, they're gonna be secured, but it gives them more room to feel like they're not, having to work, making it worse on them than what they're already having.
Gotcha. Okay.
About how many mental health calls are you responding to and actually have to transport?
We're probably making, last year we did 16 transports. And most of those are, Bridges does take some of them down at the hospital, but most of ours are going to either Richmond, Virginia Beach. We have taken some out to the Charlottesville area. It just depends on what hospitals are open or have bed space.
Thank you.
We've done, again, like I said, we've done 5 this month already, which is an unusual month.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you all for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll let you guys decide, whoever would like to come up next.
I think we do everything else together, we share an office. We'll
Yeah,
take turns, come up.
Come on up, that's right.
now.
I
I didn't see you all day.
I don't think any commission member's gonna mind if we get 2 for 1 here on the time.
Is there a reason why I'm always last in all these meetings?
We love you staying around. That's pretty easy.
C.D. Pittman or Travis Hathaway?
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, staff, my name is C.D. Hathaway, the Transportation Director and Safety and Security Director at Lancaster County Schools. Our FY '27 CIP request, we are requesting 1 school bus, 77 passenger, that's 159,000, give or take, and that is equipped with radio and camera system, and you would not believe how often we need to use the camera system. Recorded tapes, or hard drive, and a van, and this is a passenger van, for the cost of $45,000. A little bit of background, as Mr. Gill mentioned, we have historically done alternating years, 1 school bus, 2 school bus, 1 school bus, 2 school bus. What we can do now is that was when we had high school students riding on separate bus routes than the elementary and typical middle-aged kids. Most everybody else around us has gone to a single route system whereby all of the students are on 1 bus together. And it has worked out exceedingly well this year. Our discipline on buses has leveled out. The kids that used to be the biggest ones or oldest ones on the bus, which is at middle school age, they're now kept in a little more check because they're not now the biggest ones on the bus. And that has brought discipline down. It has done another thing with regard to efficiency. We don't have multiple buses passing each other on the same roads. It's allowed our fuel efficiency to increase a lot. Well, fuel consumption has reduced. And it allows us to then be able to use fewer vehicles over the same course of years because we're not accumulating miles on 2 buses running in the same route. So what we have decided, and this looks to be the case, this is the first year that we've done the single route system, and I've gotten data only from August to now, but it looks like in our 5-year plan that we put forth that we will be able to ask for 1 bus instead of 1, 2, 1, 2. But, there's a but, our number of students that require special transportation who are identified special education students has increased at a rapid portion. I mean, the kids that we have that need special transportation because they can't coexist in a traditional form of school transportation has continued to become a mounting problem for me. So that's why annually I'm asking for 1 van. When you do the math, still cheaper than what you were doing before, but it helps me a lot. Those vans go to Richmond. Autistic schools, behavior schools are in Richmond, and we are sending 5 vehicles to Richmond now daily because those kids can't ride together. I mean, there's actually a barrier, soft barrier in the car between the driver and the back. Put about 35,000 miles per year on the van. Once they get to 100, we're not so comfortable with driving them back and forth to Richmond. We bring them back here because we run probably 12 to 15 students in local routes here that are all SPED students that go to our special education programs, regional and our own. So we can get a little more life out of the vehicle. We'll use them at the school board office for going between buildings, but it's not so much an issue. So to my point, we have 5 vehicles now, we get 3 years out of them. If we can get 1 a year, then we are able to rotate 1 out, put the new one in its place, and it doesn't leave us stranded. Because you can be stranded on the side of the road with an inmate, but you try being stranded on the side of the road with a SPED student, all right, who is not happy that you're stuck there. School buses, VDOE recommendation is 15-year life expectancy, service life of a school bus. We currently have 11 now with the single route system, 11 routes, regular school bus routes of 11, one governor school bus that goes back and forth to governor school in the morning and back because they leave at 7 in the morning. You can't use a regular bus because they're going to be gone. We have one full-time substitute bus driver who keeps a bus and works almost every single day somewhere because we have, and we have an activity bus driver that runs an activity route twice a week. She has an older bus, and she keeps that at her house. She's not a regular bus driver, she retired, but she, lives at the beginning of Bluff Point Road. We allow her to take it home. So if you say we have 11, 12, 13, 14 regular buses that are running all the time, all right, and we get one a year and they have a 15-year life expectancy, guess what? That is like perfect math, all right? So that's why we're asking for that number. We do have total, right now, in our fleet, operational and inspected, 23 buses. And the reason we have that is because we took the second route off the road. So we have some high mileage buses that we can probably run through auction and get some back where we can operate with, we'll say we have 15 regular buses and we can keep probably 5 or 6 spares that we need, because for any given reason, they've got to come in the shop and we move kids to them. That'll keep us with a reasonably high mileage bus as a spare, and we can offload the really high mileage ones. And then I think we'll be able to operate at this 15 level pretty efficiently. That with the van. Do you folks have any questions? I've done a lot of thinking about this. Do you have any questions about the bus rotation and sped vehicle situation?
I think you have done a great,
2 of those buses are sped buses for whom we don't have drivers.
you
So,
need to understand it right away. I think you did a really good job.
He really
Yeah.
did, because I see your special ed kids through CSA, so, yeah. And you have a couple that you take into Hampton.
yes, we have the kids go to Hampton, Richmond, Gloucester. We have had Fredericksburg, Warsaw has a school.
Yep.
Apparently, there's one in county that may be a building being sold that may also become a autistic school. The autism category itself within special education is, I guess they've learned more about identifying it, not just us, but nationwide. And it is not unusual at all for the SPED department to come to me and say, we had an eligibility meeting today, and this kid's eligible, and this child can't ride the bus, and now we've got to go get them. And it's a lot of that. It's gotten to the point that not in the too distant future, if we continue the pace we're at, that somebody is going to have to stand beside me and just deal with sped transportation stuff. I mean, as its own, it's a lot of routing. Larger divisions have entire departments of dispatchers and routers and aides, and it's a much bigger. Anyway, so that's that part. I'll hit real quickly the safety and, because I do safety and security too.
Quick question.
Oh, yes, sir.
Can we use those same vans for our smaller athletic groups?
Yes, we do, as a matter of fact.
Well,
We do now. As a matter of fact, our state wrestling team, who took 7 wrestlers and
gonna
coaches, instead of a school bus
Yeah.
going out, we have to pay a driver to spend the night in a hotel. And the school bus, which has to take everybody everywhere all the time, they're using 2 minivans right now.
I was gonna say, you use that for the.
We use it for swim, we use it for golf sometimes, we use it for cross-country.
Cross-country.
But, these smaller groups, the ones that are between a minivan being effective, and we don't have 2 drivers for 2 different minivans, that's where that mini white bus we got 2 years ago comes into play. Travis drove it to governor's school the other day, because we had to steal the governor's school driver to drive a school bus. That takes 14 kids at one time and has some storage in it. So we have options. We got cars, we got minivans, we've got the mini white bus that holds 14, and you don't have to have a bus driver's license. We've got the full-size buses, 66 passengers, 77. So we have a menagerie of things to make transportation work. But that's that.
Yeah,
That,
yeah, that answers that.
That answer?
I figure we can
Okay.
use it, yeah, if we can use them in
Okay.
conjunction with.
all right, safety and security real quick. That one's real easy. It's every year, and if we're lucky enough to get the grant through the state, which is SEGM, they call it, and it's an annual grant. We get some money most every year. One year we didn't. We got some this year. That is a 25% match. where they give us 75, and then, thank God that the composite index doesn't play a role in that one. 'Cause we get hammered on those. That's a straight 25% match. And that pays for things like handheld radios that we use in the building for school safety and communication. It will pay for bus video system upgrades on school buses. It pays for the weapons detection systems. It pays for cameras. It pays for door locking, electronic door access systems. So we hope to get that again this year, but that's not an always guarantee. But you've capped it out as a maximum of 62.5 or 62, whatever it is. You've got a maximum there to protect you. And we would like to have permission for that, please. All right, that's all I've got.
Thank you, Mr. Hathaway. You got any questions for him? You guys do?
I see it now.
My numbers look real
You got a
good.
tough act.
My numbers look really good.
Aren't you the $70 million man?
$75 million, man.
Yeah,
Wait, what? What?
that's in the past. No, we are looking at replacing some of the air handler units that are in the school, in the elementary school. They run on the old two-pipe boiler system. They're original to when the building was renovated in the early 90s. I had one fail earlier this year, and the expectation is when one went, they're probably all getting ready to go. So we just want to make sure we get it sort of in the hopper here, and we're prepared for it. The units on the auditorium, I've got that on, was that 31 dime? They may have a little bit more life in them than what we're showing. I just want to make sure that it's on the radar, I guess, at this point. So we'll have to see how the next few years play out with those. But they're old, but they haven't been used quite as heavily as the other units in the school.
So the 2027 is, they're not functioning?
I've got one that's not.
Okay. One out of,
I believe 5.
okay.
Yeah, so some of the larger spaces, in a room similar to the size of this, it's interesting, you've got VRF in here, and that's what we have in our classrooms now, most of the classrooms. The VRF isn't as efficient as our boiler system in some of the larger spaces, so like the gym, the auditorium, cafeteria, and that's where that unit was bad, and back in the kitchen. They're able to manage in the winter, it's the summertime, you know, the ovens and stuff kind of keep them warm
Absolutely.
during the day back there. But in the summertime, they'll be on me, so I'm hoping you look upon this favorably.
So that'll replace,
So they'll let me live.
that replaces all 5 handlers? Or
There's
just-
one, so I've got a plan for like the next 4
So
or 5.
30,000 is for one?
For
Yeah,
one
okay.
unit, yeah, I'm just trying to get ahead of it. Those units could last another 10, 15 years, I just don't know.
Okay.
But the thought was that when one left us, and they're all the same age, it's likely that we lose 1 or 2 over the next few years.
That's it?
Yep.
Everything else you guys gonna be brand new, something. You guys have any questions? Travis on the air handler? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is Matt online, Glenn? Matt, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
What's that?
Yeah, got you just in, Matt. You have the floor, sir.
All right, so for this year, I have automated dispensing cabinets, and a little bit of background on that is April 15th, 2025, the state turned over the drug program to each individual EMS agency. So we got that all straight, and part of that project was dispensing cabinets, but during that project, they were essentially back-ordered into oblivion, and eventually the order was canceled, and the project rolled over fiscal years. And since that initial funding was under the general operating budget, I try to revisit that through capital improvement this cycle. So what that is cabinets that stores our drug kits at each station and allows for controlled access to meet DEA requirements since they'll have narcotic kits in them. What that allows is for the crews to be able to properly store and exchange used drug kits after each EMS call at their station versus have to come back to our main pharmacy to do the exchanges. Biometric controlled, followed with RFID access, so you meet all of your dual access verification to be able to access the cabinets, and it also opens up for a little bit easier access for volunteers to exchange as well. So for those that aren't familiar, one would be placed in Kilmarnock Rescue, and the second one would be placed at the Upper Lancaster Rescue. And then our office features our primary pharmacy. I did a fairly extensive narrative on there for anybody that has had a chance to read that. Is there any questions on that project?
What was that? I couldn't hear that.
Any questions on the EMS dispensing cabinets?
It's gonna sound like a broken, well, you haven't been here, but is this, I mean, are we mandated to have this? Are we in compliance with everything now? Or does-
Well, it's not part of the mandate. The actual pharmacy room and program was or is mandated. The dispensing cabinets just provide that same access at the station. It helps build up some turnaround times because right now the crews have to come all the way to our office, do their exchanges, and then return to their service area. So where they're running into the issues, particularly at the middle of the night, and then when you're taking a truck just to get maintenance done, whether it's short-term, long-term, it kind of cuts out on that and provides on-site access control.
So it makes it more efficient.
Yeah, I mean, as Matt said, he said the state turned it over to us. It's more like they forced it down our throats, that we
That's what I
had
was-
to create our own pharmacy, basically.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, and these dispensing cabinets, as Matt said, will make it much easier for our crews to replace their medicines as opposed to going back to the central location and replacing them there.
Okay.
Also, under the risk mitigation, it alerted me that it says could prevent costly DEA fines or legal liabilities resulting from diverted control. So it looks like it's greater control and more efficient. I think I read in here something.
Yes, so
It also
Well,
augments with,
so the DEA calls it diversion, but it's essentially theft. So you have some cases where people they might just take the drug boxes off and leave them in the building so they're unsecure, especially if they're thinking the truck is just going for an oil change or anything like that. But in reality, if we were to have a pop inspection or anything like that, that violates every guideline. So this would help eliminate that and actually have a secure and DEA authorized storage location at the building.
Yeah. You guys have anything else for the chief?
Did you want to talk about any of your outer year?
I didn't see anything on the outer years.
Yeah, he's got some items on the outer years.
Oh, I was looking straight line across, sorry.
I can do, for 28, I introduced the ambulance last year, so that's just a continuation of that. So what that will do is replace the ambulance that we put in service in 2019. Starting it in 2028 puts us on pretty much a timeline to be able to have the truck in service in 2030. So that'll put us at 11 years. And right now the truck has had extensive mechanical issues and has over 100,000 miles on it. So I think by the time the replacement cycle comes up, we'll be well within need. The second portion was a vehicle, primarily just SUV for our emergency management side. So right now we're using a 2012 Tahoe that has really been through the ringer mechanically and is barely holding on. So that's what that project is. And I also have, I listed that just to get on the board, but I'm also looking at alternative options for that. So, but that's what the Explorer covers.
Yeah, and the only other thing you had on there, Matt, was replacing a ALS unit in FY '29.
Yeah. And that's just, that'll be about the timetable to replace the Expedition, or to start the process of replacing the Expedition. Looking at current timetables and even talking to some of the vendors today, they're about 1.5 to 2 years out from once the initial order is placed, just to get the chassis and then get on the schedule for the actual upfitting with the lights and cabinetry and stuff like that. So that'll put us online to have the Expedition replaced as well, because that one's already climbing up in mileage too, even though we just put that in service last year.
I mean, those trucks are always rolling. They're always rolling.
Yeah, we're close to, we'll probably be right at 30,000 miles within the first year of use.
Anything else with Matt? All right. Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining us, Matt.
All right, thank you.
So we're tasked with the same thing. Are you going to send us an email to rate, or do you want us to send you our ratings, or how do you want to do it?
I can do like I did. I don't think I did it last year because your February meeting got snowed out. So you had to do everything at one meeting in March. But yeah, I can send out, if you remember, I sent out an email. You all ranked them and then emailed that back to me, and I compiled that. And when you come back in March,
They're already ranked.
yeah, they're ranked overall by your recommendation. So I can do that.
Yeah, that seems to work best, then we don't have to worry, there's
Yeah.
no nitpicking on
Yeah.
this, that, or the other, it's already kind of just done.
Yeah, and hopefully Lieutenant Haywood can come back with a better number on that transport van, and hopefully somebody from the registrar's office or electoral board can be here as well next month to address the questions
In the
that you had
interim,
tonight.
Yeah, we'll shoot them an email.
Yeah, I'll try to find an
5 minutes,
answer
and we'll talk
to
about
those
it.
questions. If that, iPad model or using an iPad for voter check-in is required, mandated. I know it makes it easier because they used to use those ledger books that you roll the pages over, and, that's very time-consuming and antiquated.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you guys for putting together a great packet, by the way. Anything coming down the pipe?
I did hear back from DEQ today, so they have made very minimal comments on the Bay Act program ordinance that we have. So that will be coming to you as a public hearing next month.
Okay. So we don't have 2 public hearings?
Yes, sir.
You'll have 3.
Oh,
Because
yep.
you'll have the R2, LR2, Legacy R2.
The Bay
Chick-
Act.
Bay Act and capital improvement budget.
Oh, so that's going to be a public hearing, okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right. Anything else you guys want to add?
If we could go back to the R2 for a minute. I was somewhat taken aback to hear that there are hundreds of these parcels on the water. I had no idea that we had these. Now, can someone develop one of those today?
The R2 district developments that were approved were based on a master plan that was approved by the Board of Supervisors. So they would have to be developed according to that approved master plan that, was approved whenever. And we, like I said, we've run into the issue where we've had a couple of instances where folks wanted to revise that master plan. One case, the density came down. In one case, off water, the density went up. So, but we have had really no way to adequately enforce that repealed ordinance. So to answer your question specifically, it would be governed by the approved master plan that was approved at the time any development was approved.
But somebody could develop one of those.
They could, based on whatever master plan was approved at that time.
I'll be damned.
Yep.
Are there any such properties? I'm trying to-
Yes, High Banks is a good example, where they haven't completed,
But that would most,
What
well,
was
they still be
approved.
within the 800 feet, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But all their waterfront, quote unquote, is, I guess, been done. What about the Tides Lodge?
That was one of the ones that came in for revision, and they actually reduced their density. Because if you remember, they had a master plan approved back in '04 that called for 66 condo units in one building.
I remember that.
And they came back and went to the Board of Supervisors to revise that, do away with that one building, do away with 66 units, and I think it was, 28 or something, individual units that resembled more like a single-family residence.
So that's what's approved now, so that couldn't be changed.
Well, it could be changed if it comes back to the Board of Supervisors for another revision. But that was pretty much a no-brainer, because, as I said, that was a reduction in
Yeah.
density.
Sure.
Yeah. And something that was more, aesthetically pleasing and more in tune with residential development in the county,
Absolutely.
which is basically single-family residences on the
So
water.
I'm just trying to think in my head, I don't know of any other R2 places on the water.
You got Windmill Point,
yep.
Windmill Point,
Well, that's all daggone, pretty much
yeah,
eroded away.
yeah, but that's there. You've got,
Sloop.
you've got lists right there.
Sloop Point, which has just been completely built out at this point. So that
Which
one's
point?
Sloop Point, that's up
That's
Maratica. They look like townhomes, up Maratica, kind of across from Belle Isle State Park. That's built out. Western Branch Preserve, Tides Lodge, The Green, Golden Eagle, Hills Quarter, Rappahannock, Westminster, Canterbury, Harbor on Indian Creek, Rappahannock Landing, Rivers Landing, High Bank, as we mentioned, The Landing, as we mentioned, and of course, Windmill Point Marina.
Yeah, the Landon, I think, is probably built out, but I don't know what the heck you would do with setbacks at the marina nowadays, but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
So I guess another way to put it is, there really isn't a large acreage waterfront parcel that's zoned R2 that hasn't already been developed to some degree.
Either way, this isn't promoting development.
No, it's,
At all.
like I said, it's just giving us a way to enforce and regulate these existing properties,
Give them the hand.
because they're kind of sitting out there in no man's land.
Yeah.
And we've got to have a way to regulate.
Okay. That answer your question, Dave?
Yeah.
Anything else you guys got? All right, thank you, guys. See you next month.
Thank you.